of you are going to have a spouse like that too. Some of you are going to have a life like that too. Because at the very least, at least it's the life that you've chosen. You can look over at that spouse and go, but I chose this. No. Here's a better way of thinking about it. I chose this. I chose this. This is the life I chose. I chose this. Is it the best life in the world? Only children talk like that, like little children. It's not the best. I'm not perfect. No one's talking about perfection. No one's talking about the best. We're asking it, is it the life that you've chosen? Could you have chosen a better life? Duh, yeah, it's not even worth talking about because it's so obviously true. But the question is it a life that you can sit there and say, at the very least, it's the life that I have chosen? Where's the value in a life that somebody else chooses for you? Why? You're going to watch this, unable to change it, but you have to watch it. And I wonder how many of us at the end of watching it the first time would say to this entity, oh, you are a demon, aren't you? I'm going to have to watch this again. Not just again, on loop for all of eternity. But imagine if you're able to get to the end of all that and you say, that was my life? Again. Let's watch it again. I want to watch that again. I'll let you decide if that's an angel or a demon. Because there is, obviously different things will come across your feed, and so you can be distracted by different things. Like you can be distracted by humor. Some people love doom scrolling. I have a friend who just seems to absolutely love getting into arguments online, and actually seems to enjoy being irritated. I think I can actually say. He's a good friend of mine, and he really just seems to be, I'll talk to him, and even if I haven't seen him for a while, we'll get together, whatever, and I'll sit down and be like, oh, so how you been, man? Dude, people online are pissing me off, bro. And then he'll start complaining about some post he made and how someone responded to it, and how come they can't just own up to their shit, and I'll sit there with this person for 20 minutes, legit. The first 20 minutes of us just sitting there and him complaining about stuff like that. And then I'll usually ask him afterwards, anything good? Anything good happening in life? And then he'll just be like, yeah. Then he'll say something good that's happening, or he'll make something up almost sardonically, he'll say something like, I don't know, it's sunny today, so that's good. In other words, he'll intentionally make something up to make it clear that he's making it up so that he doesn't have to find something that's actually good. And of course, we ask, what does that say about a personality? In other words, why would a person actually actively want to be irritated? I imagine it's the same impulse as a person who really just wants to laugh and find entertainment. In other words, we're looking for the distraction. And whether the distraction for some people is humor, the distraction for some people is irritation, the distraction for some people is doom scrolling, the distraction for some people is even learning, education. In other words, people will say, well, I watch educational TikToks, which I feel like might be an oxymoron, but I'll let it slide. If you say that you're doing it for that, it's still a distraction. In other words, it still isn't living a life. It isn't maybe applying the things that you're seeing. I don't know. I guess maybe that's what determines whether it's a waste or whether it's an investment. Are you able to use the things that you're picking up? You find yourself scrolling through some funny TikToks, and maybe it elevates your mood, and so that makes you more productive. But man, you ever find yourself scrolling for an hour, 2 hours, and then you can ask yourself afterwards, how much production do you have to put together to make 2 hours or an hour of scrolling worthwhile? And I don't know, but it's a question to ask because it is your life. And you are going to find yourself very soon, in a few months. We have this week, not even this week, sorry. We have today and then Friday with you, so 3 more days. And then you're gone for 2 weeks. And then when you come back, we've only got like, what, a month and a half of actual like school stuff until Christmas break. I think it's 6 weeks or so until Christmas break. And then you're halfway through your senior year. Actually, you're more than halfway through your senior year because the second semester is shorter for you guys by a week. You guys finish a week before everybody else. So you're more than halfway through your senior year. And then you'll have like senior activities and all these things going on. So it's just going to be a blur. It's going to go by really, really quickly. And so the question isn't, someday I'm going to have to live with the decisions that I'm making today. The truth is that next year you're going to start having to live with the decisions that you've been making since like 8th grade, 9th grade. And all of it comes together. All of it culminates at that point. When you go to fill out an application, I have students who I see it on Instagram all the time. People who will say things like, in high school, we never learned how to fill out a job application, how to do taxes, how to do a rental agreement. Oh, but I learned how to find metaphors in a poem. And people will post that and they'll think it's smart. And I just think, that's as dumb as the personality that wasted 4 years and learned nothing. What did you learn when you were in school? Did you learn how to read? You're telling me you can't read a job application? Here's what you do. Where it says name, that's your name. That's where you put your name. And then when it puts down address, they're asking you for the address where you live. So far, so good? When they ask you for a date of birth, that's the day on which you were born. That's the kind of stuff that's on a job application. In terms of a rental agreement, here's the rental agreement. You pay X amount of dollars and you get to live there. But you gotta pay every month by a certain day. All of that other like little tiny print, that's stuff that most people won't really understand unless you're like really high level, like reading or your attorney or something like that, more complicated. But if you find yourself going out in the world and you find yourself ill-equipped for the world, here's the really shitty part for a lot of people. I'm sure Christian would agree. It's your fault. In other words, you were prepared. You did learn something. Like, did you ever learn how to do taxes? Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if you were just not paying attention that day. Oh, how do you do taxes? The form tells you. You read it. It says, it asks you. In fact, they even make it like number coded. You get your tax form at the end of the year from your job, and then it tells you your net income is this, box A. And then when you do your taxes, it'll say insert the number from box A here. It says box A. You put the number in there, and then it says subtract the number from box D from box A. That's subtraction. So all you're doing is addition, subtraction. You're not even doing division or multiplication. So if we get to that point of looking at a tax form and we go, I don't understand what the hell's going on here, we should probably look back and go, I watched a lot of reels though. Maybe ChatGPT can do my taxes for me. Maybe ChatGPT can sign my rental agreement for me. Maybe ChatGPT can fill out my job application for me. But understand why I say this stuff, because it really scares me. It breaks my heart to think, like, we're fretting over job applications. We're fretting over doing taxes, like the most basic of the basic. How can you hope to become an engineer? How can you hope to get to the bottom of some really deep issues in your life? How can you possibly think? And I mean like to actually sit and think and roast with an idea, something that you could come up with. If we are struggling to say, plug number A into box A. If we're struggling to figure out, wait, when they ask for my address, what do they mean? They mean my mailing address? They mean where I live? Do they mean, oh, it's so complicated? Some of you are going to be, I don't know if they're already doing this, but they do the scholarship applications that Lee was saying. You go in there and they actually have people in the counseling center who walk you through it. Okay, honey, here's how you do this. So right here where it says your name, you want to put your name. Right here where it asks you for your weighted GPA, here's your transcript, put that number right there. And I don't know how to say this nicely, and I mean this with all the love in the world, and I really do mean this. If a college application is kicking your ass and you're struggling to fill that thing out, you're in deep trouble with regards to college. The application is just the application, bro. How are you going to study engineering? How are you going to study philosophy? How are you going to study biology, chemistry? How are you going to study sociology? How are you going to study any of these things if we're struggling to write name where it says name? And I'm not, please hear me how I'm saying that. I'm not saying this as a way of like, it's your life, and it's your life. It's your life. It's your life. And what are we doing to build up, to scroll through it? I don't have any. I say it. I'm glad I'm not growing up right now. I guess I can say that because I don't know what I would do. I mean, if I had access of all of human knowledge in my hands, I mean, I don't know that I'd be. I don't know that I'd be scrolling through TikToks. I don't do it already. But what I do is I read a lot. I look up a lot. I'm always like, getting into rabbit holes. And all of a sudden, 3 hours later, I'm reading about how the Sumerians were actually established by an alien civilization. And I just think like, man, if I was 16 today, then I feel like I don't know how distracted I would be. In other words, you have a whole world around you that's set up to distract you. You have a whole apparatus that's set up to make everything easier for you. And it's so ingrained that we probably don't even realize how easy things are. You have people coming along who are showing you how to fill out scholarship stuff. I was almost 2 years into college before I ever even heard of FAFSA. I had no idea that there was financial aid available. I didn't even know there were scholarships. And I mean, you heard of scholarships, but 1.8, you're not earning many scholarships with that. But I never knew that there was like loans and things. I went my first couple of years of school just working full time and going to school and paying for it that way. And yet today, and one day someone asked me about that. I go, do you have FAFSA? What the hell is FAFSA? And then they told me, I'm like, huh. Because I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay for a university. And that's when someone told me about what that was. I'm like, huh, so that's available? Yeah. I have a really good friend who's really, really smart. He's uneducated, but he's very smart in terms of brain power. He used to go with me to UCLA, and I mentioned him because all of a sudden he messaged me a couple of days ago out of nowhere. He used to go with me to UCLA even though he wasn't enrolled in the classes. I would just go by his house in the morning because he wasn't doing anything. He was unemployed and all that. I'd pick him up. He'd go with me to class. He would do the reading with me. He would participate in the class. The professors knew he wasn't in the class, but it's called auditing. You just show up and take the class. And he would participate. He would say smart things. We would talk about the readings and all that. And he would say, oh man, I just can't read. So I would read, and I would just read out loud since I was reading anyway. And then he would kind of process as we were then we'd sit there and we'd talk about it. But today, oh, and by the way, easily the most talented guitar player I've ever heard in my life. I don't care who you bring to me, any professional musician, this guy can stand up with anybody. This guy was incredibly good. And yet today, he's unemployed. Before he was unemployed, the last time I talked to him, which was a few years ago, he was working as a security guard at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. His job was to sit in a hallway and make sure that nobody walked down that hallway during the event. If you were going to come down the hallway, he'd have to say, can't come down this hallway, you have to go around. That was his job. And this was a guy who was able to, and anyway, when I was finishing up school, I made a comment to him about, dude, you need to do this. Because we were only like 20, 21, something like that. And he says, I'm too old now, too late, I can't afford it anyway. Well, dude, there's financial aid. So what is that? So I'm telling him about it. My point is that I bet everybody in here, 100% of us in here probably know there's money for college available, there's financial aid available. So my point is just that sometimes we can have so much handed to us that we don't even realize that, what kind of an opportunity it is. But regardless of whether you realize how big of an opportunity it is almost immaterial. What matters is that you realize there is opportunity, but to do what you will with it. Yeah, we're condemned to be free because we are responsible for everything that we do. And not just everything we do, but we're responsible for everything we don't do. And that's a lot of responsibility. And we've kind of built it into this culture, this idea that responsibility is a bad thing. Like soon, you guys are going out into the real world. Sorry, let me say it. You guys are going out into the real world. And all that stuff you're doing right now, they're not gonna let that happen in the real world. You've heard that, right? But when you get to the real world, wait till you see how it's going to be. And people will say that almost like gleefully, like they really want you to crash and burn, just so you can find out what the real world is like. That's terrible. What's the real world like? It's great. It's great. I love it. First off, the world is where I keep all my stuff, so I'm glad that it's here. But in terms of the real world, in terms of what you can do there, man, like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Anybody have a car? By any chance? Yeah, you have a car? Okay, what kind of car is it? Toyota. Oh, it's a black Toyota. First off, that's racist, Danny. But secondly, what kind of Toyota is it?
Great question.
Right? So it's got so it's a black Toyota with a parking space. That's one of my favorite Toyotas to have, actually. It's good to park. Is it a new one?
No.
Oh, how old is it?
It's 2013.
2013. So it's older than me. Okay. So this thing is old. All right. Now, it's probably not going to run super well. It's going to be kind of a piece of shit. It's one of those cars you're going to sit there and go, come on. And when it turns on, it's like, yes, this is a good day. But here's the thing. It's your piece of shit. Yeah. And is it going to be your piece of shit for the rest of your life? No. Eventually you'll get another one. Maybe because the car just stops running. And so you have to abandon it on the side of the road. Maybe you'll finally, you'll keep it your entire life and fix it up. I have a 2000 Toyota Tacoma. I love that thing. It's Mr. Truck. He's got 310,000 miles on him. I got another car, and people will see me drive that one. They'll be like, whoa, what happened to the truck? It's always guys too. Guys are like, whoa, where's your truck, dude? Did you get rid of the truck? Hell no, dude. I get rid of that truck, dude. I'm fixing him up so he'll run forever. When his engine blows up, I'm gonna get him a new engine. I've had that dude since 2000. I bought him new, and back in January of 2000. That guy is 25 years old, man. I'll never get rid of Mr. Truck. Now, if you were to see Mr. Truck, you might be like, oh, that's pretty good. If you got inside Mr. Truck and you said, this truck's kind of messed up, dude, it's kind of a piece of shit, I'd say get the fuck out. Walk. Dude, it's raining. Should have thought about that before you dissed Mr. Truck. Might be a piece of shit, but guess what? It's my piece of shit. And now you can walk. Some of you will have something like that, a car in your life that you're like, this is my piece of shit and I love it as it is. Some of you are going to have a spouse like that too. Some of you are going to have a life like that too. Because at the very least, at least it's the life that you've chosen. You can look over at that spouse and go, but I chose this. No. Here's a better way of thinking about it. I chose this. I chose this. This is the life I chose. I chose this. Is it the best life in the world? Only children talk like that, like little children. It's not the best. I'm not perfect. No one's talking about perfection. No one's talking about the best. We're asking it, is it the life that you've chosen? Could you have chosen a better life? Duh, yeah, it's not even worth talking about because it's so obviously true. But the question is it a life that you can sit there and say, at the very least, it's the life that I have chosen? Where's the value in a life that somebody else chooses for you? Where's the value in your A if I spend all the period coming around row by row, put that phone away, get to work, come on, do you need help with something? Come on, get to it. No, you can't, no, 9 of you can't go to the bathroom at the same time. No, you have to, if I stand at the door every time and wait for people to show up late, why are you late? What's going on in your life? Do you need somebody here for you? Do you need me to come pick you up in the morning? I've got that extra car, I can lend you Mr. Truck, although you might think he's a piece of shit, but he'll get you where you're going. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, fine, I'll do my work, oh, fine, I'll show up. And then you cross that stage. And I know some people say, yeah, I need that in my life. You only need that in your life because you're lacking free will and ownership of your own life. I want somebody else to do it for me, but then if someone else does it for you, what's the value in it? You haven't achieved anything. Imagine if I catch the touchdown pass and you're running next to me, I hand you the ball and go, you got it, you scored. You really sit there and go, yay, I scored the winning touchdown. No, because it's not the the one that you've chosen. And just because you've chosen, and then, by the way, if you've chosen it, you've got good reason to be happy about it because it's yours. You own it. It's your piece of shit. So some of you, I'm sure, know people like that, where they get a car and they like a really crappy car, and then they put really expensive rims on it. Or they get a really crappy car and they put a really expensive sound system in it. Might, that way I can't hear the haters. But it's your life, man. And it's a life that you've chosen. I guess the question is, have you chosen? Have you chosen well? Have you chosen in such a way that you can be proud of it? And that's, I don't know. By the way, I don't know. That's really on you to decide. But was it you guys I was talking to about the demon that comes to you, or the angel who comes to you in the middle of the night? No. Oh, man. So here's your homework for tonight, for this weekend. Imagine as you're laying in bed, you're drifting off into sleep, and then something catches your attention. You open your eyes and you see a demon standing next to you, or an angel. I'm not sure which it is. Well, I'll let you decide in just a minute whether it's a demon or an angel. And this entity tells you that you've died, you've passed away, and you're now living in the afterlife. And here's what your afterlife consists of. Because you might ask him, like, wait, is this heaven? Is this hell? What is this? And this entity is going to say, I'll let you decide in just a minute if this is heaven or hell. Here's what your afterlife consists of. You're going to spend all of eternity watching your life on replay. So from the second that you were born, not the highlights, not the lowlights, every single second of your life. It will take you 18 years to watch that. Everything that every cry as a baby, every time you took care of your siblings, everything that you were going through, and you're going to watch your life in third person unfold. Every single second of every single day, every decision you made, every decision you didn't make, everything that you experienced, whether positive or negative, every time you helped a person or you turned your back on the person, and why. You're going to watch this, unable to change it, but you have to watch it. And I wonder how many of us at the end of watching it the first time would say to this entity, oh, you are a demon, aren't you? I'm going to have to watch this again, not just again, on loop for all of eternity. But imagine if you're able to get to the end of all that and you say, that was my life. Again. Let's watch it again. I want to watch that again. And that's the free will. That's the decision every day to ask yourself, what I'm about to do or not do I want to watch that on replay for all of eternity? I'll let you decide if that's an angel or a demon. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Yeah.